Okay, so I thought we'd have a little chat today at home. Instead, we're at home, all right? So we're going to chat about things that have changed since I've been alive, which is a really long time. All right, behave yourselves. It started because there is something that I found out is 50 years old this year, and I would never have thought it was 50 years old. So if I give you a clue, after I've given you the clues, you might want to pause it and have a think about it. But I will tell you at the end of this little podcast, all right? So it's 50 years old this year. Just told you that about 5 times. I'll shut up now. It's a toy. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I would never have believed it was 50 years old. I would have thought it was younger, if I'm honest. But it's 50 years old this year. Some clues. It's a toy. 50 years old, and everybody had one when I was a kid. Simple as that. Everybody had one. Remind me if I don't tell you, because of the menopause, it's back again. I might just forget to tell you, but if I do, I'm really sorry. Right, so that's 50 years old. So things that have changed since I was a kid. There has been, well, since I've been alive, there's been a million things, and loads of them are shocking, I got to tell you. First of all, if you're like not that old, and by that I mean like, you know, just a teenager or in your early 20s, you won't even know that when I was a kid, first of all, you were lucky to have a phone in your house, and second of all, if you did have a phone in your house, it was one that you had to dial like that. And it took forever to dial. If somebody had a lot of noughts in their number, you were there for 4 days just trying to get their number. And you would pick it up. And this is something that I don't really understand why we all did it, but we all did it. You would pick it up and you would say your phone number. So you would say 472-777. And everybody did it, which was really stupid because you had just rung that number. So why did you need to tell somebody what the number was? Because you just rang it. But first of all, you were lucky if you had a phone in your house. Second of all, it wasn't in your house like in the living room. It was in the hallway. And there was never any privacy. There was never any privacy. First, you were lucky if you could use it because normally other people were on the phone. Or don't ring in case Auntie Vera rings. Auntie Vera never rung. And also it had one of those curly cords. So that, you know, if you stretched it as far as you could, it could make it a bit further. But you aren't going to get any privacy, so don't even think about it. Otherwise, get down the phone box and put your 2p in the phone box. Before the time runs out, you had to put more money in it. Yeah, but phones. I mean, mobile phones, they weren't even thought about, let alone invented. And let alone you had one yourself, not even nearly. If you wanted a phone, you had to wait for everybody else. If you wanted to phone your mate, you popped round there, knocked on the door. Let's be fair. Honestly, it's unbelievable. I can't get it. I can't get how it's changed so much in my lifetime. Probably the biggest thing though is the internet, innit? The internet is just crazy now, innit? It's changed all of our lives forever. But when I was at school, if you wanted to find something out, you had to go to the library. You had to go to the library, didn't you? And look through the stuff at the library to find out an answer to a question. Thesaurus. Wikipedia. So there's one. Wikipedia, that didn't survive. Now, let's be fair, if we want to know something, we just ask Wikipedia, don't we? Google it. Google it. That's a phrase that I didn't even know what it meant. It wasn't around. It wasn't around ages ago. It just wasn't around, was it? So, yeah, there are things that have changed. It's unbelievable. Email. Email's another one that comes out of all of that, doesn't it? Email. Never emailed anybody in my life. You sent a letter. You sent a letter with a stamp in the post box, which took forever to get there. Absolutely forever, didn't it? And then someone might, message you back. Write to you back. Write in a letter. We even learned how to do that when I was at school. How to put the address in the top right hand side. Yeah, we learned how to do that when I was at school. It's shocking, isn't it? Cash points. They weren't about, were they? They just weren't about. If you wanted money, you had to go to the bank to get your money. As if you put your money in the bank. If you wanted money when I was a kid, you asked your parents, didn't you? But yeah, cash points, they didn't exist. And as for online banking, well, there was no such thing. Online banking, you went to the bank and they said, no, you can't have none because you ain't got none. It is crazy mad. It's mad. Remote controls. I have to tell you, remote controls didn't exist. In fact, I was the remote control. And every kid in every house was the remote control. They really were, weren't they? It was, oh, that's another thing. See, not meant to be in the remote control, but when I was a kid, there was 3 channels. There was 3 channels. BBC One, BBC Two and ITV. It wasn't until about 86, 85, 86, 86, 84, 84 or 5 or 6, one of those 3. I'll have a look after. But one of those, Channel 4 came out, and I remember the day that it launched, to be fair. And Countdown was the first thing on it. Woo! Oh, sorry. I've gone off track there just a little bit, and I really. Yeah, so you were the TV control. If you wanted a different channel, you had to get up and physically turn it over. Physically turn it over. And 3 channels is what we started with when I was a kid, and then it turned to 4. But yeah, and that's when ratings were phenomenal because everybody watched the same show because there was only that many channels. So everybody watched the same show. So if you went to school the next day, everybody had watched whatever it was. I'm trying to think of something that you would watch, but everybody had watched it. Did you know that birth control weren't around then either? The pill wasn't around. Not that I would have done anything like that then, because I was far too young, and even after that, because obviously, you know. That's another story. I'll get to that one day because now I was very late before I came out. Right, why have I gone to that? Why have I gone there when there was no need of that? Everything was just very different. I mean, let's talk about shopping. Shopping, when I was a kid, shop shut on Sunday. No shop was open on Sunday. And also after closing on a Wednesday. Yeah, you couldn't buy anything for the bottom half of a Wednesday, and on a Sunday, nothing was open. And that's not just me being extreme, because I know I can be very extreme. Nothing was open on a Sunday. It is bizarre. Look at me, cat. Yeah, just bizarre. You couldn't buy nothing in the shops. If you wanted something from the shop, you have to wait till Monday. If it was a Sunday, nothing was open. And I mean that. I don't mean there was nothing. There was no garages or anything like that. Nothing was open on a Sunday. Everything shut for the day. Computers. That's another thing. We didn't have computers at home. In fact, I remember when I started, not when I started school, when I became a teenager, the BBC computer became into schools. And so we started to learn on that, and it was huge, absolutely huge. A bit like tellies back in the day. Tellies back in the day, they were huge. They had a massive bit in the back. That they're not like that anymore now. But they had a massive bit in the back. And also when I was a kid, everybody rented their telly. Nobody bought a telly because they cost about a year's salary, didn't they? Nobody rented that. Nobody bought their telly, did they? All bought it from Radio Rentals of Granada. Do you remember? And when I was a kid, you had to put 50p in the meter to get your electric. Anyway, I'm just having a bit of coffee. Is that all right? Wait there a minute. Have you thought about the toy that's 50 years old? Don't let me forget to tell you, will you? Because you'll be so angry. You're going to punch me up the throat if I don't tell you before I go. So things were really different when I was kid. So much has changed. I can't even talk about all the things that have changed. It's just ridiculous now compared to what it was when I was a kid. I mean, when I was a kid, you know, kids used to go out and play until like it was dark. Your time to come in was when it gets dark. Kirby. Yeah, it was, honestly. When it was dark, then you came in. Till then, you just stayed out and played forever. Forever and ever and ever. Okay, until you got dark. Things that you don't see now that you used to see. What's things that you don't see now? Right, hitchhikers. Don't see them anymore. They were everywhere. They weren't everywhere, I'm lying. But they were, people did hitchhike places quite safely as well. Milkman. Everybody had a milkman as well. Do you remember? A man that used to deliver your milk every day on the doorstep. with the bottles, and used to put a little note, or someone, I didn't put a note, but your mum used to put a little note in the milk bottle saying, I'll have an extra pint today, please, or I'll have a orange juice today. Oh, I tell you what used to really wind my mum up, because on the top of the milk was the cream. Why is the cat, right, you can't see her yet, but the cat has decided to come and see you. Yeah. But yeah, get off me coffee. The top of the milk was the cream on the top bit of the milk, and I don't like cream, so I used to pour it off, and then that wasn't all right. What are you doing? Get out! This is me now. So sorry about that. Yeah, but everyone had a milkman. No one has a milkman anymore, do you? Go and get the milk from the supermarket. Nobody has a milkman anymore. Bizarre, isn't it? How things have changed. What do you want? Excuse me a minute. What are you doing? Why do you want to take part in this? Oh, what's she doing? She's walking around things she shouldn't be walking around. What are you doing? Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Right, if all of a sudden this cuts off and, like, you know, you see me. Okay, she's fine. She's fine. It's not a problem. Yeah, so milkman. I don't even know where I was. Milkman. Yeah, don't see a milkman anymore, do you? I think some people do have them. But yeah, you could get, like, you couldn't just get your milk either, because you could get bread and stuff. I'm trying to remember. But you could get milk and bread, and you could get bits and pieces, couldn't you? Everybody had their newspapers delivered too, didn't they? Yeah, and that's another thing that you don't see now. When I was a kid, paper round. I had a paper round. Loads of people had paper rounds. Yeah, they did. You don't see that anymore, do you? No one gets paper delivered anymore. Things that are crazy. What don't you see anymore? Right, do you remember, right, videos, cassette recorders, yeah, a cassette and a pen to wind it forward, because it used to take forever to fast forward your tapes and that. It used to take forever. So you'd do it with a pen and it would all unscramble and you used to have to wind it up. Oh my God, that was not okay. Videotapes as well. Blockbusters. I spent hours in Blockbusters looking for a video. Wouldn't you? Spend hours and hours and hours in there just looking what video you'd want to watch. Yeah, and then you'd get like free, wouldn't you, to watch in one night. Yeah, hours. Records, that's another one. Vinyl. Now, lots of people out there don't even know what vinyl is. Vinyl, well, I'm not even going there. Records, they were just a different thing, weren't they, really? They were a different breed. Things that you don't see anymore. I tell you what you don't see anymore. You don't see a avocado green sweet in your bathroom. That's what you don't see anymore. Now, they were everywhere. And brown and orange wallpaper. Now, that was a thing of the 70s. Everybody had it. It was dirty and nasty and evil. Nobody should have had it, but everybody did have it. Honestly, it's wrong. Things that you don't see now as well. Some things are good things that you don't see now. Let's be fair, racist jokes are about a lot. And that's not okay. And things are on telly that really you'd never see on telly anymore now, which again is good. It's a good thing. So we have evolved in a good way. You don't see smoking signs anymore now because you can't smoke anywhere. Back in the day, you could smoke in the doctors, in hospitals. Yeah, seriously, in hospitals. Who would ever imagine you could smoke in a hospital? Yeah, you could in the doctor's surgery, everywhere. You could smoke everywhere. It was okay. And before my day, but I think you find back in the 50s, they even promoted smoking, didn't they? That it was good for you. Yeah, they did. It was good for you to have a fag. Giving up smoking's another thing. We'll go there one day. It's hard, isn't it? If you've ever smoked. See, vaping now's no good. I've gone off on a tangent. So if you're talking about things that have changed, but vaping has changed, isn't it? I mean, you've got vaping now, but like, I think it's been advertised the wrong way because I think kids are doing it because it's cool. That's not all right, is it? It's not okay. It's just not okay. But yeah, smoking. Everywhere you could smoke. Anywhere you wanted to, you could go. You could smoke. And then it suddenly changed, didn't it? So you had smoking and non-smoking bits. But honestly, it's bizarre. That's changed. Can't smoke anywhere now, which is good because it's not okay for you, is it? It's proven to be really, really, really bad for you. Food that we used to have that we don't have now. Vol-au-vents. You remember vol-au-vents? I have to tell you that my wife thinks vol-au-vents are the best thing since sliced bread. But you just can't find them anymore now. Duck à l'orange was something that was about, I think everybody wanted to be all French all of a sudden. But yeah, that was something that was about. And it was a bit weird. It was, yeah. I don't even know, probably people don't even know what that is right now, do they? But things have changed dramatically. Lots for the good, let's be fair. Lots for the good. And we're in a world of technology that has just blown people's mind, isn't it? Isn't it, really? It's clever. It's clever what's happened. I mean, if I look back at what we had when I was a kid and where we are now, that's an awful lot of change. I'm not sure that another generation will see as much change as I've seen. I don't know. Maybe they will. But it's the whole world has evolved an awful lot. The way that we communicate is just sublime. The amount it's changed, isn't it? It is. Look at me, I was probably thinking then, did you see that? Do you know the biggest thing that's probably changed? And the youth of today, I don't mean to sound patronising like that, but I'm just taking the mickey, will never experience what we experienced as kids at school. One of them was that you had to wear your knickers to play school sports if you forgot your kit. That wasn't okay. And apparently I say that a lot. I've realised and been told about your podcast. That wasn't okay though. Wearing your knickers for PE wasn't okay. Wasn't okay. I'm just telling you, and I'm going back there again. Do you know the other thing that wasn't okay when we were kids was the bleeding toilet paper. The toilet paper was absolutely shocking. It was like tracing paper. You could have traced with it. And I'm going to talk about this, and it's not, again, it's not okay. But the thing is, it was so, I think I spat a little bit there. The thing is, it was because I've got angry about the tracing paper to wipe your ass with. It's not okay in the fact that it was just slippery. So what I'm trying to say is, if you went to the toilet and you needed to go for a number 2, that's not going to work, is it? Because tracing paper makes things slide. I don't mean to be so descriptive, but it's true. And the other thing was, if you used it on your foo-foo, that could cut you. And that's not all right either, is it? Looks like I've got an extra ear from the plant. But that's not right too. Why would they do that to kids? Why would you do that to kids? I just don't get it. I don't get why they would do that. It's not all right. It's not okay. And thank God that things have evolved. Kids, I hope you don't have tracing paper ever come back to schools. I guess it was just because it was so bleeding cheap. It might have been cheap, but made you want to go poo at home, that's all I can say. So isn't the world evolved, isn't it, really? It's evolved a lot. In a good way. That's what we need to all know. But things that have changed since I was a kid, there's oodles. I mean, I could sit here and go on for days. Days and days and days, but I'm not going to. But just remembering the tracing paper, I'm leaving you with that thought. I do have to tell you though, don't I, about the what's 50 years old this year. So let me give you a little bit more clues, all right? So as I said, it was a toy. It was also a puzzle. And not just children had it. And it's older children. So I would say from 6 onwards, you would probably have it. And there might have been more than one in your house. Because adults loved them too. They still make them now. And they've changed as well. They've got bigger. Anyway, shall I tell you what it is? It's a Rubik's Cube. A Rubik's Cube is 50 years old this year. Now that makes it 1974. I don't remember having it that early. Oh, and I would have been too young by then anyway, because, like, you know. But it's shocking. Do you not think that that's shocking that a Rubik's Cube is 50 years old this year? 50 years old. Did you have one? You had one, didn't you? Everybody had one, didn't they? I don't remember. I've still got one, by the way. Little one. In me, like, fidget toy things. Yeah. Everybody had one. And did you ever take the stickers off to complete it? Did you cheat? Yeah? Did you cheat and go, look what I done? Isn't that clever? We all did. Anyway, things that have changed in the last, like, 50 odd years. It's unbelievable, isn't it? And I'm sure you have got a million more than I have talked about. But it's ironic to look back and realise what's changed since you've been around, isn't it, really? It is really ironic. And the world has become a much better place. There are things that I miss, you know, but we're always going to say that, all of us, aren't we? There are things that I love that would come back. There are things that are really good that they are never going to come back ever again, aren't there, really? So there's good things and bad things. Anyway, have a beautiful day. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And love you, bye.